can see one seed, few seeds and many seeds. Children, for one seed, do you know the example for one seed, children? Mango. And few seeds, children, apple. And many seeds, children, do you know papaya is the example, children. So in few plants or few seeds, one seed is mango and few seeds is apple and many seeds is papaya. So the plants reproduce in different ways, through seeds, through spores and vegetative parts. So fruits are very important parts of a plant because they contain the seeds. So some fruits have only one seed and some fruits may have few seeds and some fruits may have many seeds. Example like mango, apple and papaya, children. So children, we learn structure of a seed. Structure of a seed. So a seed has a coat. So which is the outer protective covering. So a seed has a coat. So it is the outer protective part. See children, here this is the outer protective part. So it covers the seed. So it is an outer covering part. So below the seed coat there are present the two seed leaves. Below the seed coat there are present two seed leaves. What are they called as? Cotyledons. They are called as cotyledons. So what these do, the cotyledons? They store food for the baby plant. So cotyledons store food for the baby plant. So between seed leaves grows the baby plant and it has a baby root and a baby shoot. It is called as embryo. See children, this is a seed coat which covers and the plant grows from the cotyledons. So it is called as, it stores the food for the baby plant and seed leaves is go. It is called as epictole or not embryo. Okay children? Children, germination of a seed. So when it takes place, when seeds gets the right amount of air, water and sunlight. So when a seed